Now it's the turn of my presentation. So I'm going to present the paper towards more open forms of sustainability reporting in the public sector, which is also authored by my colleague Ana Ayetano. This paper is a conceptual work in progress with a preliminary proposal for more open forms of sustainability reporting in the public sector. So all comments and suggestions will be very welcome. I will first introduce the paper and its objectives, then I will provide some background for sustainability reporting in the public sector, including the advantages and challenges. Then I will briefly revise the previous literature on public sector transparency by using ICTs to then present our conceptual model and some concluding remarks. Sustainability and sustainable development, as has been mentioned, is at the top of the social and political agenda of most developed countries. Although national governments have a primary responsibility, it is at the micro level where the efforts and results are more easily measured and communicated. Sustainability requires for major efforts to mobilize data and monitoring frameworks, and it is public administrations have a primary responsibility in providing data and tools to empower citizens and other stakeholders. In the end, positive effects and consequences should be obtained at the economic, environmental, and social level that will contribute to more favorable working conditions and potentially creating a virtuous cycle. Sustainability reporting can be defined as the practice of measuring, disclosing, and being accountable to internal and external stakeholders for organizational performance towards the goal of sustainable development. So we can say that sustainability reporting has three main objectives. First, to assess the progress of an organization towards sustainability. Second, to communicate the efforts and progresses in the economic, environmental, and social dimensions to stakeholders. And third, foster accountability and stakeholder dialogue on these issues. Therefore, sustainability reporting is closely aligned with the core components of the definition of open government, that are transparency, participation, and collaboration. Open government is a philosophy of public sector management that opens the management of public affairs to citizens in order to provide them with more information and more opportunities to participate and collaborate in such a management and in creating public value. Despite substantial progresses in studying the domains of digital or open government and sustainable development separately, there is little research at their intersection, that is to say, how to use digital government in support of sustainable development. In this context, the objective of this paper is to highlight the relevance of broadening sustainability disclosures in the public sector, combining the advantages of the traditional standalone report with more interactive, timely, accessible, and reusable forms of reporting based on the philosophy of open government and the previous literature on open government data and platform governance for sustainable development. The public sector represents a significant part of the economy and has a primary responsibility in promoting the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. So public administration should lead by the example as regards the commitment to sustainable development and sustainability reporting. Furthermore, non-financial objectives are more important in the provision of public services than in the private sector. Sustainability reporting is seen with a great hope in the public sector, as it can provide a holistic view of the impact of its activities and improve transparency and accountability. A main problem for sustainability reporting in the public sector is the availability and gathering of information, as many times there is no centralized performance management system and the information is in the hands of different managers. Another problem could be the existence of multiple accepted frameworks and the lack of specific guidelines for public sector organizations to disclose sustainability information. And public sector institutions also have the responsibility of sharing the information, and the selection of the best reporting tool is a challenge for them. They can choose to report this information as part of an annual report, as a standalone report, or by using ICT tools. The use of ICT tools has many advantages, but there are also some risks related with the use of website forms of reporting to replace traditional reports, such as the institutionalizing effect for sustainability reporting and the lack of reliability and perhaps the lack of updating of web-based forms of reporting. Therefore, we believe that the development of a conceptual model for more open forms of sustainability reporting in the public sector is an important topic. As regards the advantages of sustainability reporting, it has proven to be useful to improve organizational performance towards sustainability, because exposing processes and performance to public scrutiny provides strong incentives for good management. Transparency is also a necessary condition to achieve the participation and collaboration of stakeholders. And open data and open government in sustainability reporting, they provide the basis for achieving citizen participation and collaboration in the search for sustainability and benefits for all stakeholders. For example, researchers that have traditionally had problems in order to access information about public sector entities can take advantage of this, but also companies that can have better resources to generate new products and services and foster innovations and generate jobs. The provision of raw data can also satisfy the needs of external stakeholders who cannot obtain reports tailored to meet their particular information needs. As a good practice for managing and publishing data and statistics related to the Sustainable Development Goals, we want to highlight the platform Open Sustainable Development Goals, developed by the Office of National Statistics of the United Kingdom with the support of the United Nations. Currently, this platform is being used by 23 countries, including the US, the UK, Germany, and 11 subnational governments, such as Barcelona, Liverpool, and Bristol. In the case of the UK platform, PDF reports can be downloaded. Graphs and tables are available per indicator, showing trends, and this data can be downloaded individually per indicator, but also all the data available in the platform can be downloaded at a time. I mean, this is what happens in the UK platform. As it is a customized platform, in others there is no such a possibility to download all the data. But I mean, the platform and the solution is there, and this can be implemented. As regards previous research on public sector transparency by using ICTs, there has been a lot of research measuring transparency levels in the public sector through the use of websites, and particularly regarding the disclosure of financial information. More recently, the use of other ICT tools such as social media and open data portals has been proposed and analyzed. So we can say that the focus has been broadened in two ways. First, to incorporate citizen participation and collaboration approaches in addition to transparency, because these are cornerstones of open government. And second, to incorporate social and environmental aspects, particularly in addition to financial issues, particularly in some types of public sector institutions, such as state-owned enterprises because of their proximity to private corporations, public universities because of their the increased relevance and the importance of reputation and competitiveness in this sector and their institutional relevance, and also in local governments because of the contributions that cities make to sustainability. Results show varying degrees of adoption of sustainability reporting and the use of different means to report this information. But however, the contribution of open government to sustainability reporting in the public sector is still understudied. Our proposal is based on the premise that the mere disclosure of information is not enough, and that stakeholder orientation or responsiveness to user needs is necessary for effective public accountability to take place. Furthermore, user needs have to be considered from 2 points of view: those of data experts that are more interested in reusable formats and machine processable information, but also those of the general public that is more interested in the understandability of this information and the use of more widely known data formats. Okay, and furthermore, the importance of interactivity, engagement, and collaboration must be acknowledged. The model we proposed is based on 5 dimensions: sustainability disclosures at its core, and then the qualitative characteristics of the information disclosed, then items related to data provision and attributes of this data, then characteristics, elements that promote the interactivity and stakeholder participation, and finally the usability. As regards the sustainability disclosures, we must be aware that sustainability is a multidimensional concept and that not all dimensions would have the same relevance or even apply to public sector, to all public sector institutions. The standards of the Global Reporting Initiative have been the most widely used worldwide, and when available, the GRI sector standards can be particularly useful. There are also some recommendations for Sustainable Development Goals disclosure that have the support of the International Federation of Accountants and the International Integrated Reporting Council. These classify disclosure themes in 4 dimensions: governance, strategy, management approach, and lastly, performance and targets. Lastly, the current movements to compulsory standards in the private sector, with the key accounting organizations taking the lead, will also pave the way for sustainability disclosures in the public sector, so we must keep an eye on them. As regards the qualitative characteristics of the information disclosed according to the International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board, the qualitative characteristics of financial information, of financial reporting frameworks, also apply to sustainability reporting. These are relevance, faithful representation, understandability, timeliness, comparability, and verifiability. There are also other recommended principles for sustainability development goals disclosures, such as stakeholder inclusiveness, to which we devote a particular dimension, conciseness, and the connectivity of the information. Some examples of features that contribute to fulfill these qualitative characteristics could be the existence of glossaries, graphics, interim reports, the publication of reports or data for several years, the existence of executive summaries or hyperlinks within the reports. As mentioned, an important in all these sessions and an important concern is the credibility of sustainability disclosures and the external assurance of the sustainability report, or perhaps the internal management processes is necessary to enhance confidence and trustworthiness. As regards the provision of data and the attributes of this data, the provision of the data sets supporting the sustainability disclosures is the preliminary and first step, but we must be aware that efforts are also needed to encourage their reuse. In the academic literature, there is a consensus about the existence of 8 principles for open data. First, that the information should be complete with the exceptions of privacy, security issues, and so on. That the information should be, that the data should be primary versus aggregate, timely, accessible, machine processable in order to allow for automatic processing, non-discriminatory, for example, by using comma-separated values rather than Microsoft Excel proprietary software, and license-free. Therefore, these dimensions should take into account different items, such as the number of data sets published, the topics covered, the frequency of publication, the ease of management of the data, for example, at least comma-separated values rather than PDF formats, the existence of machine-readable formats, or the definition of the metadata used. Also, ensuring that the information contained in the data sets has the same validity as those included in the official publications is necessary to build trust. As regards interactivity and stakeholder participation, as we have said, fostering accountability and stakeholder dialogue is one of the main objectives of sustainability reporting. So efforts have to be made to engage stakeholders in contributing towards the common goal of sustainable development and to obtain knowledge on how to improve public sector management. Some possible features that could be included in this dimension are the provision of different options for stakeholders' engagement on sustainability issues, the possibilities to subscribe to newsletters or sustainability-related alerts, the provision of specific contact details to ask for sustainability-related information, the possibility to suggest new datasets to be published, or the possibilities to rank or provide feedback on the datasets or a section with the apps that are created based on these datasets provided. Lastly, the usability dimension could include other items that refer to the level of stakeholder engagement and which are not specifically included in the other categories. Some possible features could be the accessibility to the information, the compliance with accessibility standards, the existence of help sections, frequently asked questions, the possibility to access and download data through application programming interfaces, search options, possibilities to filter data, or built-in possibilities to manipulate the data or create visualizations without the need of downloading this data. As summary and conclusions, we can say that sustainability reporting and previous empirical approaches to sustainability reporting in the public sector have focused on the disclosure of sustainability-related information within existing published, most of the times, PDF reports, which is the logical first step. But that in this paper we acknowledge that ICTs and digital governments should play a key role in the implementation of sustainability-related policies in general and sustainability reporting in particular. For this end, we propose a conceptual model for sustainability reporting in the public sector that consists of 5 dimensions: the sustainability disclosures, the qualitative characteristics of the information, the data provision and the attributes of this data, interactivity and stakeholder participation and usability. In any case, we must bear in mind that the gap between aspirations and capacity is always a challenge for most public sector institutions. But we think that we must be aware of the efforts that are needed in order to achieve the ideal of effective, accountable, responsible, inclusive, and participatory public governance, and that perhaps a conceptual framework or some guidelines will be useful in order to advance in this regard. And this is the end of my presentation. Any comments, suggestions would be welcome. Thank you very much.